Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Keneisha Deas, the widow of Steve Perkins, a name we've heard a lot now, says she and other community members have a lack of trust in the Decatur Police Department. And it goes back to September 29th of last year. Former officer Mac Marquette shot Perkins in front of his home. It started because of a car repossession dispute. 3 Decatur police officers were fired, including Marquette. One more was suspended without pay. This was Mayor Tat Bowling's decision last December, and all 4 officers have appealed. Marquette was indicted for the murder of Perkins back in January. Marquette had pleaded not guilty and is now awaiting trial. We sat down with Catrela Perkins to ask her about community trust. And then also tonight, we hear for the first time from the man in charge of policing the police, asking what he can do to make people trust him more.
Who is Steve Perkins to you?
Okay, I'm sorry, let me just, I just had a moment, I'm sorry, wait, give me a second.
Please take your time. Would you have ever imagined something as this magnitude regarding Steve Perkins would happen?
No, not here in Decatur.
To many people, Perkins represents justice yet to be served in Decatur. But to his widow, Catrela Perkins,
I do feel like he was my soulmate. He was a great father, husband, and a great neighbor. He was a gym rat. He stayed at the gym. If he wasn't at the gym, he was at work, or we were probably out to eat 9 times out of 10.
We talked about this earlier. Steve Perkins, you knew him, right?
I did.
How did you know him?
I just knew him really in passing from at the gym. We worked out at the same gym together. You know, got to know him through that. Just, you know, just talking to people.
When you found out that it was him and that the incident that happened on September 29th, like what went through your mind?
I'll just say it like this. The loss of life for anyone, being in this department, being in this community, being a part of it is tragic.
part of the mistrust began when Chief Pinion released a statement about the shooting, saying that officers ordered Perkins to drop his weapon before Marquette began shooting. Pinion later walked back the statement as the Alabama law enforcement agency conducted the investigation. Neighborhood surveillance revealed Marquette ordered Perkins to get on the ground. Pinion also walked back the statement that Perkins refused to drop his gun prior to the shooting.
The first statement that was released, I knew that was false because I know Steve. He wouldn't have dared did that.
If I could go back and do that again, I wouldn't have. We would have changed some of that, but we would have made it correct, and that's the reason why I did that, because I said, look, I want to be honest. I want to have integrity, and that's part of the integrity part. So look, yeah, we did mess up, and I owned up to it.
In April, we sat down with Catrela during a community forum centered on her husband's case.
Do you feel like you have a trust in law enforcement in Decatur specifically?
No, the trust is very, very low. Especially, after September 29th.
Catrela, like many others in her community, have a mistrust of the Decatur Police Department, led by Decatur Chief of Police Todd Pinion. We sat down with Chief Pinion in June, getting to know him first without the title as chief.
Who is Todd Pinion?
Well, Todd Pinion's a guy that grew up in Southern Illinois. The baby of 3. My parents are a little bit older. I'm the baby of 3 by a long shot.
Pinion said he went from working in corrections in Illinois to serving in the police force in Decatur. He worked his way up through the ranks in all of the 20 years he said he's been in the River City.
What do you hope to see? Could you see any mending of community trust here?
I think the only way that the community will begin to heal is to make changes in the police department. I do believe Todd Pinion stepping down or resigning would be the first step to healing.
That's pretty heavy, Chief. Like, she said that. What do you make of that?
That's something even before the incident. It's something that I noticed that we lacked in some community engagement events, different things. It's something that literally the day September 28th, I was with my Citizens Advisory Board going over some things about how I wanted to do some other engagement activities with the community to really try to just be out there a little bit more, and that's the small steps to be able to do that, and I understand where they're coming from. I do, but the fact of the matter is, I feel just like I said, here for such a time as this, I don't take none of that personal. I want to try to make this community better.
Chief Pinion says he plans to implement a 6-point plan to improve community relations with police. Since our interview with Catrela Perkins, she and at least 19 people filed a complaint against an officer, Lieutenant Joe Renshaw, following a demonstration during a street festival in late April. Accusations include harassment against Renshaw. The Decatur Police Department confirmed to us Renshaw had filed for retirement in June. For more coverage on this case, visit fox54.com.